What's up, guys? A little late, but we have everyone assembled. Big T is with us, making his NBA rundown debut, and we got quite the card to finish out the year. Only 2 days left in 2020, so let's try and find some winners and some giblets in today's card. So the first game we have is a game that had quite the line movement. For you guys out there with the legal books, this game opened at +9. I would have liked it there. Never had the opportunity to get it down all the way to 6 with the Celtics coming off that really grueling back-to-back win over the Pacers last night. That was the best game on the card. I really enjoyed it, and the Celtics came through in crunch time. Now that the line's down to 6, what do you think about this game, Big T? Are you looking to get involved at all on the Boston side?
Yeah, I was listening to you guys yesterday talk. You must not have been able to. I was sending messages in the box to you guys. You must not have seen it. I was on Periscope, but Boston has struggled to score the ball a little bit, too. I know Tatum had a big game yesterday, but I'm still not super confident in the Boston offense for the most part. I mean, they just don't look right without Kemba. And I don't know, like Memphis, it feels like the number's a little heavy to me. I mean, do we think people are sitting?
Well, John Morant got hurt, yes, or was that 2 nights ago? He's out 3 to 5 weeks.
Yeah.
But this would be the typical superstar subtraction game. The first game missing a star, where the increased usage for everyone kind of gets them excited to trying to carve out their new role for the next 3 to 5 weeks. And take advantage of some of these opportunities that they might not normally get. Now, with Ja, I don't know how much that is because he's such a great distributor of the ball, but do expect to see some players stepping up. And I agree with you, Big T, on the Celtics offense. I think it's quite odd that they're starting Tristan. I thought that Tyson him would just be staggering like completely, one in, one out. I think it's kind of weird to have them both out there, and I think that's another thing that's stagnating the offense because Tice has a little bit of range, and I guess Thompson, but for the most part, I think it's clogging the game up a little for the other two to be able to get to the rim. So definitely problems with the Boston offense, but they're so talented and they've been playing such good defense. They've been able to overcome it so far. I mean, Tyler, what do you think about this one?
I think Boston rolls here. I mean, who's going to step up for Memphis to replace John Morant? Tyus Jones. We're going to get Dylan Brooks chucking up a bunch of bricks, and that's pretty much going to be it. I think Boston wins this game by double digits. And less guys sit. That's the only thing that worries me.
The line looks so fishy to me, and I know JJ always gets on me about this, that I fall for. There's not actually fishy lines, and you guys are the professionals. I'm just the DFS guy, but like I can't help but think this line looks super trappy towards the Boston side. I just never bet Boston in this spot. I don't know. That's just what do you think, Spread?
Yeah, I mean, I totally liked Memphis when it first came out. I mean, that +9, that was wrong. Now I think it's gone to where probably right around where it should be. The Celtics obviously are going to be able to execute in the half court towards the end of the game a little bit more, and then those fouls can get you really close to the number towards the end of the game, assuming that Memphis can keep it close. So,
what happens when Boston sits someone? Like, say, even if Marcus Smart sits or something. They have no guards. Like Boston literally has no guard.
I don't think they can sit him. I don't think they're.
I think everyone plays tonight.
Yeah, I don't think.
Why is the number only 6 then? So explain to me why. Like, how is there not ever fishy lines? Like, how is the line only 6? Like, Memphis has nobody.
Probably just because we're really worried about this Memphis roster missing their best 2 players and how they're going to generate offense against. Say what you want about Boston's troubles this year, but I think they've been defending pretty well. So,
well, that's what I mean. I would think the spread would be like double digits.
But Memphis is rested, and Boston had a really tough game last night. That was the best game on the card to watch from a fan's perspective. And Indiana definitely pushed them to the limit, and it was a tough physical game. Then they travel into Memphis. I think the line makes sense. But you guys seem to be on Boston, so Tyler, you want to put that down as an official lean? For the people who don't know that aren't subscribers, we give out all the leans from the show in the Discord, and they went 4-1 yesterday, so we're gonna try and continue that one.
Memphis roster is really bad.
It is.
Like, who's going to score on that roster? I don't get how they get 105 points. I think Brooks goes.
Speaking of which, and this is where we can pivot to Big T. So, is there any way any of these Memphis guys are going to make it into one of your lineups tonight?
So the pricing as far as DFS is rough because Kyle Anderson slow-mo has been pretty good all season, but man, he's priced up. He's up to 6,000 on DraftKings tonight,
Oh,
which
wow.
is super high. I mean, a guy like Grayson Allen should get a pretty good boost. I mean, he's cheap, so you can definitely put him in. Dylan Brooks has been pretty good. Tyus Jones, I mean, he gets the biggest boost, obviously. I'm sure he'll start at point guard, but he's somewhat expensive and he's just limited on offense. He just can't score. He's a really good defender. He's a decent, just pure point guard. But just like his brother, I mean, they've never been able to score. So nothing I love. I mean, this is going to be a low scoring game. I mean, the total dropped what 6 points since open. I mean,
Yeah.
what 224 to 218 now. I still think it might go under. I kind of agree with Tyler. It looks like an ugly game to me. I can't bet Boston just because it looks too fishy to me, but the line definitely looks off.
Yeah, I mean, let's see how that line move continues because Memphis obviously pretty popular with the guys that bet the overnights, and those are usually the guys with the heavier money and that are really serious about it. Tyler, are you looking at any player props for this game?
I mean, they set Dylan Brooks' number at 20.5. I think he goes over that. As
Oh,
long as he
nice.
doesn't shoot the ball terribly, he should get 21 to 25 points, I think.
He went off last night a little bit.
Yeah,
Or
he
was it
went for
2 nights
24.
ago?
Yeah, it was 2 nights ago when Morant got hurt and he kind of took over the bulk of the offense. So, all right, I don't hate that look at all. So,
Yep.
obviously, it's tough for the books to set these lines on the first game off the injury because they're not exactly sure.
What number do they give Grayson Allen? Or do they even
I was
have
11.5.
11.5? I probably like the over on that even. He's just going
I
to
like
have
it.
to score.
I like his under on his threes. It's 1.5, and it's plus
You like
140.
under 1.5? What has he been shooting terrible or something?
He's terrible from outside this year, and it's plus 140. So, I mean, you're getting great value on that.
On the under?
Yeah.
I always like those plus 140s when the plus number on these props where the plus juice is just nice on them, especially in one like this where you don't love his 3-point shot.
Yep.
Yeah, and that actually helps us transitioning to one of our favorite player props bet from yesterday. I'm sure you love this one, Big T. I don't know if you saw it, but Tyler
I
gave
saw
out Giannis under 1.5 threes, right? And that that would seem like a no sweat cash. Tyler, are we going back to the? I mean, hey, I capped the game wrong. You had that one right. I had it wrong. But the one thing I had right was Miami shut down Giannis. He only scored 9 points. No, I didn't expect the rest of the team to set an NBA record for 3-pointers made. So
If
that'll
you would
be
have told me they
interesting.
win that game by 40 and Giannis only had 30 fantasy points, I would have
Yeah.
laughed at you.
I know. I mean, I couldn't believe it. And I was telling Tyler, I mean, if were sadistic enough to leave it on your TV, TNT actually cut away from the game and just said, let's go look at other games because this game is so terrible. So now they play again back to back tonight. I saw that the line was all the way up to 6.5. Miami took money. It's back to 5. What do you think, Tyler? I mean, is this just going to be a continued revenge beatdown, or does Miami get back on track? Last night was it an aberration?
I think it's a wait and see who all plays for Milwaukee. I think if you get all the guys from Milwaukee, I think they stomp them again.
Yeah,
I mean, did you see?
I didn't
Did
hear
you see what Tyler Hero said after the game?
What did he say? No, I missed it.
He said it almost seemed like Milwaukee came to Miami like on a mission to embarrass him.
Well, and then they mission accomplished, right? Sitting next to George Bush on the aircraft carrier. What do you think of this one, Big T?
Yeah, I agree with Tyler. Like, I think you have to see who sits, but man, I have a hard time not betting Miami in this spot. They got embarrassed. They were in the finals. I know everyone said that they got the benefit of the bubble, blah, blah, blah. They still made the finals. They still beat Milwaukee in the playoffs. They got embarrassed yesterday. They're well coached. They sat a bunch of their guys like Dragic, only played the first quarter. He's going to play a lot more tonight, I'm sure. They rested him because they were getting killed. I think they show pride and play good. And if you bet it early, there's an outside chance you catch a lucky break and Giannis sits or Middleton sits or some of these guys and we get a big line move. So I like it. I mean, bet it early, bet it right now. And these are the type of games I always bet the spread and the money line. Like Miami plus 5, Miami, I don't have the lines up in front of me, but plus 200 or whatever you get it at. What's the money line? Plus 170?
Plus 173 right now.
Yeah.
Bookmaker.
I like betting both of those. I like them on the surface, but we could fall into a much better number. Say somehow Giannis and these guys end up sitting and Miami goes off favorite, which easily could happen if two guys sit. You can even hedge back the other way and bet it the other way. So I like Miami a lot tonight, though.
Yeah, I personally don't expect anyone to sit. I think that they will go with a full lineup again. I think the revenge tour is in full effect. I guess I lean Miami, but I'm not getting involved in this. I mean, I was so embarrassed watching that game last night. I mean,
It
I
was
didn't
so
even want to
bad.
open up. I didn't want to open up the Discord. Unfortunately, the members were quite kind for how what a beatdown that was. But
Did we have the Miami side?
that was my official play yesterday, and
If
I
you're
mean,
gonna lose, you might as well lose
I
gloriously.
know, and yeah, the thing is, at least there was no pain in it. So let's take a look at the props and maybe the DFS angles. Are you jumping in? Are any of these guys going to be featured in your lineups, Big T?
So I talked about Dragic. I liked him yesterday. They just didn't play him. I mean,
Hmm.
they got blown out early, so he sat. They need playmakers without Jimmy in there. Dragic and Hero are the two guys. And Dragic, I mean, so do you have the numbers up? What are the
for
two numbers on Dragic and Hero?
for the
But
props.
there's no props released yet on there this
No.
game, or
Well, no
either
matter
game.
what they come up, like I'll probably like the overs for Dragic and Hero, just playmakers. I don't like the bigs as much just because I don't think they match up that great with each other. But Dragic and Hero would be the two guys I like the most.
All right, so no props for this one, Tyler. I'm sure if you find one, it will be in our Run Pure Bets Discord. You guys, real quick, and that'll be give me a great chance. So this is a free show. We do this pretty much 5 days a week for the subscribers behind the paywall. If you'd like to join, bets 25 off the betting side or buckets 15. That will give you if you'd like the DFS, and then you get Big T and his cruise knowledge as well as the betting side. On the betting side, I think we're up 40 units since inception, Tyler. I mean, it's just been going fantastic. A great group of guys,
Yep.
and this is the type of stuff you'll get. You get it for the NFL, NBA, and Major League Baseball. So, just want to throw that in there. Thanks for everybody to join us, and let's move on to the next game. The Atlanta Hawks, the Brooklyn Nets. So the Hawks are the darling. Kind of the NBA and the betting community right now. They made all those great 2K GM roster moves where you just bring in everybody you can, everybody that's available, you get them. And so far, it's worked. The offenses look fantastic. Capella made his debut to bring a little bit of defense. Rondo's helping them because last year offense was absolutely terrible when Trae Young was on the bench. Now they're not just getting destroyed, during his bench minutes, which allows Pierce to run better rotations. But they're going up against the Brooklyn Nets team that's been the talk of the NBA here. Durant, boy, he looks like old KD. He might not be as fast, but that shot is there. It's silky smooth. Him and Kyrie seem to have great chemistry right off the bat. Obviously, they're hurt with Dinwiddie being out, but this is a pretty deep team to begin with, and it just gives LeVert more usage. I don't know in the short term how much this really hurts this team. So this is going to be a fun game for everybody to watch. Kind of like the up and comers versus the new darlings or maybe the favorites to come out of the East now. What did you guys think about this game?
I think it's going to be a game that Brooklyn might want to just show Atlanta who their daddy is a little bit. I mean, they just sat. That was the last game they played, right? When KD and Kyrie sat the other day.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're back in there. They hear all the chatter too about Atlanta. We knew coming in that Atlanta was going to be way better just because the people they pick up. I mean, you pick up veterans like Bogdan and Gallo and these guys. I mean, you're gonna be a better team no matter what. Like you just are. So the Nets, I think, obviously we all agree, are probably the best team in the East if they stay. Even without Dinwiddie, they just are so deep in every position. They can come at you in waves. And I think they might want to show Atlanta who daddy is a little bit here today. I like Atlanta as a team, but it's a tough spot today. And this total is massive, 240. Should be a fun game on the surface, but I wanted to talk to you guys about this too. So these blowouts, what's the deal with these blowouts? Is it going to keep happening? Is it because there's no fans? Is it because there was no preseason really? Like, what's the reason for this?
All of the above, but yeah, I think a
Yeah.
lot of it is just no preseason, and once these teams get behind, I mean they're packing it in without the players being home. I expect to see a lot now. Normally, I'm kind of scared to lay like big chalks and double digits, but I don't think I'm going to be scared at all. I mean, some of these games, I don't know if they're going to be able to set the lines high enough. So I think it's going to keep going for a while. It might not even stabilize till the pseudo All-Star break, but at that point the tanking is going to begin because all the bad teams are going to sell off, all their pieces, as the hope starts to wane for some of these lottery bound franchises. So yeah, I think the blowouts are going to be a thing, and I know on the DFS side that can be tough to navigate, right? Because you can nail at the game perfectly, and then your guy gets pulled in the third, right?
It's
And some
just
other
brutal
guy,
too, because when
yeah,
it happens, like you're sitting so good because your dudes are playing great, like they're doing what they're supposed to, but they almost play too good. You
yeah,
lose that fourth quarter run and you're just screwed. Like it's just even like the Nuggets game last night, it wasn't even a blowout. They have a rough stretch at the end and it just falls apart. So it's tough, but I don't really is there's like some edge we can do where we play some of these alt line like in this game. Like is there a place I can bet it? Like say I want Brooklyn to win by 20 plus at plus 300 or 400 or whatever the line is.
FanDuel will let you do that.
FanDuel let you
and
do
you
that.
can
Like
grab that
what kind of
offshore
price
too.
could I get tonight on Brooklyn minus 20?
Let me find it real quick.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull it up. But I don't mind that look at all. And I think tonight we're going to see Atlanta's defensive deficiencies on full display. I think they can score with the best of them, and they're going to look fantastic running the Bulls out of the gym. Beating up on the Wizards.
Yeah.
The other mid-tier teams, but. First of all, nobody's stopping Durant when he's shooting like this to begin with, but I think they're really going to have problems keeping up, and there should be a lot of scoreboard pressure. Let's see how this team, this team's been lauded. They're getting a lot of great feedback. I'm sure they're feeling themselves a little bit. Let's see how they respond to a little bit of pressure and maybe getting smacked back to earth because last year they were a fun team to bet on, especially if you took the over, but they really weren't that good. And I know these additions have played well so far, but let's see them really. Against a comprehensive, championship level contender. So I definitely like Brooklyn here. And
The dude in the chat said it's minus 19 and a half plus 520.
Yeah, that's what I'm
That's
looking
my
at
type
right
of
now.
bet. Like I like bets like that, and it could easily happen. I think it happens more than 1 out of 5 times. Put it that way. So I think there's definitely edge in that.
I like
Yeah.
that look too because I mean, the Hawks haven't played anyone in these 3 games they've won. They
Right.
played the Bulls, they played the Grizzlies, and they played the Pistons. Now they get to play the best team in the East.
Yeah.
And they're one of those teams that likes to get out and run. So I mean, if they want to get out and do a shootout with Brooklyn, the talent's just going to overwhelm them here, and I think the game just opens up.
I think Brooklyn matches up really good too. Like the thing that Brooklyn's going to surprise people with, everyone's going to talk about KD and Kyrie, but they can overwhelm you inside too with 2 big fellas. I mean, you can run DeAndre, and then you got Jared Allen behind him, and then if you take it even further, if they want to go small, they can put KD even at the 5 and go small and pound you a little bit. So they can just come at you in so many. It's almost like how the Lakers were last year with the 2 bigs and then AD being able to go to the 5. Similar to that. Obviously, it's not the same exact spot, but similar to that. They're just going to all their strengths, I think, match up with Atlanta's strengths. That's not good for Atlanta.
Nope.
Highest total on the board. This probably has to be a target for DFS then, right? Because I know that's like pretty.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be the popular game DFS wise. Durant is like way too cheap. They mispriced Durant tonight, so everyone's going to be on Durant. Kyrie's pretty cheap. Yeah,
Kyrie has a great matchup. Trae Young's arguably the worst defensive starting guard in the league.
That's going to be a fun matchup, though, Trae and Kyrie.
Do you think they kind of just try and put like Trae Young like on Joe Harris and just try and hide him?
Yeah, exactly. They will. They have to.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if they leave him on Kyrie, Kyrie's going for 40.
Yeah. The
problem is if they put him on Harris, like you might have just made me like Harris even more. If they do slide him on, Harris going to be open all night. He's going to have a big night shooting. We might be able to target his over on 3s or something.
Yeah. Do you have a look for that? Like, I'm sure it's set at 2.5 because everything's been set at 2.5 so far this year, right, Tyler?
He's not going to be able to fight through these screens that they're setting for Harris. Like, he's going to get carved up all night if he's on him.
Yeah, not to mention, with 2 players able to get to the rim whenever they want, as soon as they collapse, I should give Harris some wide open looks. And
we can get that 2.5 at plus 130.
Over 2.5 is plus 130?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I'm putting that on my side of the sheet. I like that puppy.
All right, I'm betting that as well, but we'll let Big T the credit. But we are going to put it in as one of our Discord leans because the Discord plays have been doing quite well. As we basically, Tyler, at the end of this show, we'll give you a rundown of like all the leans. So if you missed the show, you can just see like what we gave out. And of course, if you want to come back and see why you're making these bets, so you can sound smart to your friends, you can go ahead and watch the video. So yeah, I think that's going to be a fantastic game. 240 might not be high enough, but this got steamed. I think it opened at 236, 237. I wouldn't get involved at this number, but I also wouldn't take the under either.
If
Maybe
this
if there's
game
a slow
stays
start, you
close,
can
it's
grab
going
it
to go
live.
over. Like if they
Yeah.
don't blow them out, it's going to go over.
But the blowout potential is what does have me worried, right?
Yeah.
We
Yep.
talked about it early. If your plus 520 hits, it's not going over.
No chance. Yeah. Do you
So
guys
that's
ever
why-
do that? Like bet it like that? Like bet the parlay like that and then bet under as protection or whatever? I mean, bet like the Nets and under and then bet the opposite or whatever, Atlanta and over in a two-teamer. Like I might not have said that right, but
Yeah, that's an interesting. No, basically, you're saying that if the game is close, Atlanta's going to cover, and it goes
Yeah.
over. If Brooklyn wins, it's a blowout and it goes under. So you might as well parlay it, to get on your right side.
it's got to be the fish way to do it, right?
I mean, I don't know if it's
I
necessarily
mean,
fishy. It seems smart.
even
to
in a
me.
blowout,
You're
I think
relying
it
on your
still has
game
that
script.
chance to go over spread.
You think so,
Yeah.
huh?
I mean, because Brooklyn could put up $140, $150 on this team, and all Atlanta's got to do is get 100 at that point.
I mean, that would be crazy. So yeah, I mean, if it's a blowout and you lose the under, I'll take that loss. So I think this might be the most fun game to watch tonight. So we'll be definitely chatting it up in the Discord. Although we thought that about the Heat game last night, and it wasn't very fun at all. The Hornets heading to the Mavericks. Tyler and I were opposite yesterday. Tyler came out on top with the proper pick, and I think we're opposite here. I like Dallas here. I think that the Hornets have looked okay against the weaker Eastern Conference, but Dallas has had 2 days off, and they're such a better team. And here's where you're going to see, where kind of like the Hornets' deficiencies come into play. I think the Hornets are going to keep it close and be a respectable team and grab some wins here and there in the Eastern Conference. But I think the West is going to run roughshod over them, and it starts tonight. So I lean taking Dallas minus the 8 points. Tyler, you're on the opposite side. You want to let everyone know why?
I took Charlotte here. I think Luka's going to go crazy tonight.
Mm-hmm.
He should just go for 30, probably a triple-double. But Dallas still has that problem closing games.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of them games where Dallas covers the first half, and then they don't cover the full game. They'll win this game by like 4 to 5 points because they'll let Charlotte creep back in late. I could see Dallas being up close to like 15 at half, and just all of a sudden Charlotte's creeping back in the whole second half.
All right. Big T, LaMelo Ball, will he be in all your lineups tonight?
Always money on him.
But I do got to agree with Tyler though, and
okay.
I have a strong take about Luka, and I think this is kind of what I'm known for, my strong takes about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But this is gonna sound bad, and people are gonna think I
can't wait to hear it.
Oh God, here we go.
I just don't think Luka's very good. I've liked him forever. So let me preface this by saying it could be just how he's come in, short off season. He's not really in shape yet. He looks really bad to me this first week. Like he looks slow. He's had 3 bad games, really. He hasn't looked good. It could just be it's early and I'm overreacting. So let me say that. But I've always thought Trae Young's better. As far as just the NBA type thing, I know I've got killed for that take, but I don't really like Luka. So I'm just gonna say it. I'm not scared to be wrong with stuff. That's my take. I'm always honest with the people. I like Charlotte a lot tonight. I think Charlotte matches up good with them without Porzingis in here. Porzingis is close to returning though, so I don't know when he'll for sure be back, but this team just doesn't look good to me, Dallas. I mean, Josh Richardson's their second best player. He's questionable tonight. If Josh Richardson sits, I mean, they don't have anything besides Luka. Charlotte has 4 or 5 pretty good guys. I mean, their roster is better than Dallas if you take Luka out of it.
I can agree with that.
Might be better, and the line is friggin' what, 8?
Yeah.
I can't give 8. Like that's just too many, I think. But like I said, I'm sure that's a hot take. Everyone just rides the Luka train too. So
well, no, I mean he is a media darling because he put on about as much weight as Harden, right? And Harden, I mean, I couldn't log on, and obviously, I'm being on NBA Twitter, I couldn't log on without seeing a picture of Harden, right? I mean, he's photoshopped onto Eddie Murphy from that one movie, right? I mean, and Luka, like, I didn't hear a peep that he came in out of shape, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and
he
your
looks
boy
so slow.
Jokic used to do this too, so I think this could be an international thing that these guys take their time off pretty seriously.
Just to be like honest too, like it was a short off season for a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
They'll get back in shape on company. Isn't that what Shaq used to say? I got hurt on company time. I'll get my surgery on company time.
Yep.
So, but trying to mimic yourself after Shaq's work ethic is probably not the best idea for an up and coming star, right?
Can you believe him and Kobe only won 3 titles?
Yeah, I mean, if the guy was born 6 feet tall, I don't think he'd even touch Division II with that work ethic. But
no.
When you're 7 foot 330 and incredibly quick for your size, you can get away with that.
And can pass, can do everything. Like he should have won a title every year.
Yeah, so I like Dallas here. I'm just not high on Charlotte. I think that they up there. Well, the funny thing is, I was high on Charlotte when we did our previews. I was the only one that bet them over. So but I just think the West is where they get stomped.
Why don't you like them?
I just think that the difference between the West and the East is just going to come out tonight. And as much as we like to say the East have contenders now, I think the West is so much better. Like, Philly could be a top 4 team in the East, and I think that they might struggle to even be the 8th seed in the West. I still think that disparity is there, even with Durant, switching conferences. So, and I could be wrong. So Tyler and I were head-to-head, so beware because he was right about our head-to-head last night. But other than that, let's check out the core plays, or is there any guys that they're making the lineup here, or are you staying away from this game?
I'm looking at the prices. I mean, so early in the day, I don't ever go crazy with it. One guy to keep an eye on DFS wise is Trey Burke. Mm-hmm. He's not exactly a high floor guy because some games he just doesn't play with Carlisle very much, but he's super cheap. And like I said, Josh Richardson's questionable. So if he somehow sits, gives Burke a boost, I think Luka's going to be very popular tonight. I just don't think he's looked very good. He hasn't broke 50 fantasy points yet. He was in the 40s all 3 games, which, again, that's not terrible, but you need more from your star guys, especially on this slate with Durant, Kyrie, all these guys on the slate.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's not a ton in this game that sticks out fantasy-wise, though, at least yet, until we see
Devontae Graham?
I always like Devontae Graham. His price is decent. I like Charlotte. I do. I like their guys. I mean, Gordon Hayward looks pretty good. He needed to get out of Boston. Yeah, Devontae Graham is definitely one of the better plays, though. 6,600 tonight on
should be matched up with Luka, and don't expect Luka to play much defense.
Yeah, I like it. I like Devontae.
I like his assist. You got any props for this game?
Yeah, I like Graham's assist prop over 6.5 plus 112.
Yeah, I like that.
All right,
he should be able to get right into the lane and kick out, set up Rozier for threes.
All right. Well, I'll be joining you.
Set up LaMelo Ball for a few triples.
Yeah. Let's do it. So, all right. That should be fun, and we'll see where the chips fall on that one. The next game, Lakers Spurs. It's in San Antonio. Lakers coming off the loss to Portland, where they looked pretty good for most of the game. Portland really closes against them really well. I think they have problems with those small guards. Dame seems to be able to get whatever he wants in the half court towards the end of those games. Going against a different team tonight, but I've been impressed with the Spurs so far. Obviously, I think they're one of the best developmental organizations. So whatever rookies they get them playing the right way, and they get them playing that way quickly. Vassell, I think, if he had more usage, would maybe contend for Rookie of the Year. I just don't think Pop's going to give him the minutes. But their other young guys have really stepped up, and Pop seems to have found some nice rotations here. So my lean and my look here is to take the +5 with San Antonio. I don't know if they'll win straight up, but I think that they can definitely keep this game close. And kind of what you talked about earlier, I don't think that's as likely in the Miami game, but I think it's more likely in this game that we get a late scratch from one of the Lakers stars, and then the game closes at -2. So what did you guys think about this game?
I love the over here.
I like the Spurs with you too. So everyone's talking about one of these Lakers guys sit. Again, this is just how I am with my betting and my DFS. I'm more of a field player for sure. Mm-hmm. It's LeBron's birthday today, and I just don't think he's not going to sit on his birthday. There's no way. I don't think guys are going to sit.
Okay.
It might not mean anything. It's just literally how I feel about it. I don't think he sits on his birthday, so
That's a
I
good point.
still.
I think I'd read that and just it kind of passed over, but yeah, good knowledge there.
It doesn't mean it's going to happen, though. That's just
Yeah.
my opinion. He could easily just take the night off, drink some wine. Who knows what he would do? But I think he'll play on his birthday, especially coming off the loss. He wants to show up tonight. And is it?
We getting a
We
triple
don't have
double tonight.
national TV tonight, do we?
I'm not sure if that one's on national TV. Usually Wednesday night is the ESPN night, but I don't know if the bowl games trump them.
Yeah, it's not on tonight. It looks like. Let me see.
I think League Pass is free for those of you guys who have like DirecTV or Dish for one more day.
Yeah, but I like your Spurs call, though. I mean, they've looked good to me. The Lakers are going to be a team that I don't see myself betting on pretty much ever outside of big games, just because coming off the title, LeBron's got 4 titles now. I don't see them showing up a ton to try to cover numbers. Whereas the Spurs are an up-and-coming team. They're looking pretty good. A bunch of guys like DeJounte and even like what's my man's name? Keldon Johnson or whatever his name is from Kentucky. Is that his name, Keldon?
Yeah.
I always want to call him Sheldon for some reason. I don't know. Even when he was at Kentucky, all my friends would make fun of me because I'd call him Sheldon. I don't know why it's always been in my head that way, but dudes look good. I like the Spurs. I like them on the money line too because I can see them winning this game.
Okay, cool. Well, maybe I'll sprinkle with you too. I already jumped in at the +5, anticipating there might be some players sitting out, but I kind of spaced on that little birthday deal. But I know birthday fades are great in tennis. I don't know how they work out for the NBA. Tyler, do you have props for this game, and did you have a thought on the side and total?
I don't have any props in this game, but I do like the total. I like the over
over,
229.
right?
Yeah.
And
I
why do you
mean,
think it's going to be a high scoring
this
game?
isn't your typical Spurs team with Popovich. Usually they're a slow tempo team. I know it's only 3 games, but this team ranks 5th in pace. So I mean, they're going to want to get up and down.
Yeah.
And the Lakers are putting up points. So I mean, if the Spurs want to get into a shootout with them, just like Atlanta wants to get into a shootout with Brooklyn, you might see LA put up 130 tonight.
Yeah, and they've been running quick, especially when Schrader's in the game.
Yep.
I know we hit the Schrader props before. Are we kind of shying away from those? Did they adjust correctly, or are you just kind of going down on his stock?
No, I mean, we're still hitting them. I didn't see any numbers for this game either with props yet.
Okay. All right, so those will be in the Discord. And Big T, is there any chance Schrader makes it into one of your lineups tonight, or is he not doing enough on the other spots?
No, I always like him. He's never going to be the first guy in unless someone's out. Like if LeBron's out, he goes through the roof just because obviously he's going to handle the ball more. But if everyone's in there, he's not ever going to be the first dude in. He's solid though. I mean, the guy that's let me down so far a little bit is Traz. And for whatever reason, DraftKings just prices him too high. Like he's priced way higher than he should be. So it doesn't even let you play him. But luckily, he's been terrible, so it hasn't hurt me. Because I would have liked to play him a few of these games. Something's wrong with the DK algorithm. He's just priced like way high. Like he's 1,000 more than even Schroeder, and Schroeder's been better than him.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Sometimes they let you off the hook sometimes when they do that because then you just can't play him no matter what. Even if you like him, you can't play him.
And Vogel's having that same issue where you can't play him on the defensive end towards the end of games because I don't know. Like my buddy I do the podcast with says I'm just remembering it wrong. I always remember him being a pretty good defender, at least like solid.
Yeah.
He's absolutely terrible now. He was terrible in the bucket. You know, his minutes sunk that Clippers team. You know, everyone wants to go at PG and Kawhi for their terrible fourth quarter. But, I mean, Harrell had a terrible 6 games defensively. Hasn't picked it up at all. Gasol, talk about playing yourself into shape. I don't know if you can do it at that age because he's been looking slower than ever. And, of course, in slow half-court sets towards the end of the game, he's still going to be effective. But, boy, getting up and down the floor, it's not the same. I could see why Toronto decided to move on from him. And it's been really interesting to watch the Lakers close these games with these 2 centers. And I know AD hates it, but really their best lineup is to get those guys off the floor and put AD at the 5, unless you're going against, you know, some other big slow team like maybe, you know, Philadelphia with Embiid where you can get away with having a post defender and center. So, yeah, I mean, Harrell's been, you know, I thought that was going to be a great signing. I thought that it was just the bubble issues and obviously him coming off a personal tragedy going into the bubble and not being able to get the same emotional support that you would, you know, normally living in Los Angeles. But you get those high energy guys that play like that, we talked about this with Draymond a little bit too. Sometimes their bodies go out really early, and even though we consider him to be kind of young, I don't know how much more spring he's got left. So that's another interesting thing to consider and see if the Spurs will be using LaMarcus Aldridge to kind of try and attack their inadequacies in the middle. So, anything more on this game before we hit the last one?
I was just going to follow up with Trez a little more. One of the worries I have with guys that are built on like hustle and effort is once they get older, like you can't win forever with hustle and effort. He's never been like a big, even in college, he wasn't a big talent guy.
Nope.
Yeah, you like the effort and hustle, but eventually that dries up a little bit and you need some skill. So I do worry about that with people like Trez.
Yeah. So and I think that might be an issue for the Warriors too. I know that everyone's saying, "Well, when Draymond gets back," and I
Exactly
don't
like
know how much he's
Draymond.
really going to help. I mean, when he's almost like 30 going on 36 with the number of minutes he's played, the physical style that he's played, and the hustle and effort wears your body down more than say, Kawhi and PG just kind of gliding up and down the court and, kind of minimizing contact and things.
Draymond's a good call because he's the same way. I mean, 100%. He had, how many years they were playing in the finals every year for a decade.
Yeah. And he was playing the 5 going against 7-footers,
Going against LeBron, too. LeBron won
Yeah.
one night, 7-footer the next night. It's like he's got to be worn down.
Yeah. So the team that Trez left, who actually they're looking pretty smart right now, right? Is the Los Angeles Clippers. They replaced him with Serge Ibaka. I think that's so far, obviously early in the season, but that's proven to be a huge upgrade here. We haven't seen any minutes from Morris yet, and this team looked pretty good, except for dropping a 50-point game, which unbelievable that Sunday game. Fortunately, we talked about it yesterday. Got overshadowed by the fact that it was NFL Sunday. Because if that was a Tuesday night, NBA Twitter would have gone ham on the Clippers. So they're playing the Blazers, who are coming off a nice win against the Lakers. They seem to have figured things out. I was telling Tyler before we started, they brought Jim Boylan in the offseason to help with their defense, right? And Jim Boylan, obviously not the best coach because of meshing with the players, right? The personalities didn't fit, but he's a pretty good basketball mind. And he did teach them kind of a drop defense on a pick and roll, which they weren't using last year. And it went absolutely terrible to start the season. I know they got trounced by the Nuggets in preseason. They got trounced opening night. But now if you watch, it's starting to come together where the principles that Boylan added to the defense have really started to show, and it showed that against the Lakers when their ability to play the pick and roll. So they're starting to get a little better with the defensive upgrades they made with Covington and Derek Jones. They're going against a Clippers team that I love from a regular season perspective. I think there still may be some issues in the playoffs, but they still just can out-talent everybody. Paul George is on his revenge mission. Let's hope that it doesn't, for his sake, that it doesn't, end in the first round of the playoffs. But what do you guys think about this game? I think Kawhi should be back coming off his UFC knockout. And
he was bleeding so much that night. There was blood everywhere.
I could not believe that, man.
I didn't even know what. I thought there was like a hole. It was a UFC. That's a good comparison because I thought there was a hole in his face as much blood is coming out.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This game's tough for me because the price looks low. Is it just because the back-to-back factor or what? Why is the price so low?
That's exactly why. Because the Blazers got a night off and the Clippers played last night.
I don't like the Blazers for whatever reason. So this is a tough. I definitely don't like this game. I want to hear what Tyler says, just because it looks like I should like the Blazers with the price, but man, I don't like them as much as other people do. So which would make me lean Clippers, but the price. Well, what do you think, Tyler?
I'm taking Portland money line tonight. I think they win. All right,
let's hear why.
I think you might get Paul George resting, maybe Lou Williams on that back-to-back.
Kawhi could still sit too. Like, don't discount.
Yeah, Kawhi, he could still sit also. The Clippers were the team that were barking at the Portland in the bubble before the playoffs.
Oh, God, I forgot about that. They were making fun of them.
Barking back and forth on Twitter after the Clippers lost to Denver. This is their first game they play each other. If the Clippers are going to come in shorthanded, I think Portland steamrolls them. I think this could be the same thing how the Bucks had the Heat circled for that first game yesterday, and they just blasted them. I think Portland can do the same tonight.
Yeah, and I'm on the other side here. I like the Clippers, and I'm almost wondering if having a night off in Los Angeles, I'm sure those players' tenders were popping. I'm almost wondering if that tires them out more than a game. I know that they can't go out to the clubs, but Boy, team staying in LA, that second night when they do the Lakers and the Clippers, they usually come out flat. I mean, what a better place to be if you're absolutely filthy rich than Los Angeles. So I think that could
This
be
is
an
a good
issue.
side question though. So I really don't know. Like in LA, are the clubs like open right now?
No, nothing's open.
So what are these guys doing like on party? Are they like
I
partying in
think
the
they're just
hotel?
swiping right, and then those girls are, yeah, those podcast girls are probably hitting them up left and right, trying to be the
You're
next one
right.
to become a star. So
So they're chilling in the hotel with the swipe right.
yeah, yeah. So, but because we talked about this on the when the Bucks traveled to New York, and I said normally on a Sunday morning I would love to take the Knicks at home going against the team that's in New York. But I said, oh, with everything shut down, that probably won't be the case. But looked like, the Bucks had a lot of fun in New York that night as the Knicks went straight up as 12.5 point dogs. So I'm kind of still anticipating that these guys have social lives and they're figuring ways around all the quote unquote lockdowns and having a great time. And if you go to the individual matchup, I think that the Blazers match up with the Lakers a lot better than the Clippers. I think the small guards can give the Lakers problems, but I think that the Clippers have so much better perimeter defense. You can put Bev on them. You can switch George over. Leonard, of course, if he's out there and active, is going to be another guy to really give Dame or CJ trouble, whoever gets hot. And now you're going to rely on those forwards that you brought in for defense, but I don't want my offense running through Covington or Derek Jones Jr. And then I think Zubac can do quite fine against Nurkic to kind of de-emphasize that advantage that Portland does have against some of the smaller teams. I think the Clippers have the ability to match up quite well there. And of course, I think Ibaka, I mean, I can't downplay his importance enough. It may not show up a lot for you DFS guys, but he seems to just be hitting those timely threes, right? The ones
Yep.
that either extend the runs or stop the runs of the other team. And I think he's just a nice level-headed presence out there. I think that could be the key. So I like the Clippers here, Tyler. Looks like we're going against each other on two
You guys are
games.
going
So
head to head every game tonight. It's like a
yeah,
grudge match.
yeah, it's crossfire,
Competition
right?
now.
Yeah, so we gotta. We can't disagree the whole show, right? We got to get some back and forth here, make it fun for the fans. So, from a DFS perspective, any guys are going to make it into your lineup here?
So
I mean,
one question,
Dame's like so expensive, right?
yeah, I mean, I never play Kawhi, even if he plays. If one of them sits, you can play Kawhi or play Paul George, depending on if the other one sits. Obviously, they become a really good play if the other one's out. But the question I got for you guys, like Lou Williams. So we talked about Trez. Him and Lou kind of hurt them on D in the bubble.
Mm-hmm.
Lou Williams just hasn't got run. Is he not going to get run this year? Does the new coaches just not like him? What? Even yesterday with Kawhi out, he played 20 minutes.
I mean,
Like-
you can't pay Luke Kennard $60 million to sit on the bench.
So they're seriously going to play Luke Kennard over Lou Williams? Sweet Lou? Like, you guys aren't involved in DFS as much. What? Why are they doing this? Explain it to me.
Defense. It's simply defense, and Lou Williams is just
They
such a
already got
defensive
defense,
liability.
though. They got all the defenders.
Yeah, I think Ty Lue's trying to prove a point.
He just wants 5 defenders out there?
Yeah, he
I mean,
wants.
yeah. I mean, you have to come in and do something to kind of differentiate yourself and your squad from the year before. Lou's such a professional. I don't think that the less minutes is really going to affect him effort-wise. He's still going to get you buckets whenever you need.
Yeah.
So he's huge for staving off those runs and providing those good second-level minutes. But
You
I
think
think
name
20
to keep an
minutes
eye
is
on.
the new rule?
Name to keep
yeah.
an eye on for the trade deadline.
Yeah, I mean,
you think they'll drop him? I think they'll keep him.
I think they'll trade him.
Interesting. All right, that's enough. So we got some hot takes on this show. I'm glad that we went public for this one, so everyone can hear that Luke is not that good and Lou Williams is on his way out the door. Let's do this.
I mean, I just can't imagine playing Nico Batum over Lou Williams. In my head, I just can't imagine.
Did you watch last night though? I mean, Batum's giving you solid effort on both ends of the floor. He's
fine right now. I think
too.
he's going to be the opposite of these other guys, though. Like, he's going to be fine, and he's just going to drop off a cliff.
Explode.
Like,
Yeah, just fall.
I just can't imagine it. In my head, like, I just could never play Nico Batum over Lou Williams. Maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong.
Yeah, it's only for the defense. He's such a versatile defender. He can pretty much go 2 through 4 without a hitch.
He's nice with those guys, too. I mean, Paul George,
Yeah.
Kawhi, him, Serge is always a good defender. I get it. I just don't value one-on-one defense as much as other people do. Again, maybe it's right, maybe.
And
I'm
I
not
think
getting buckets.
I mean, how much can you really do to switch up this team as a coach from Ty Lue? But they definitely needed some. They
Yeah.
need to feel like this season's different, right? I mean, you can't just run it back, guys, right?
I agree with you. I think you're right. Like, I think it's the
So,
right move. It's just
yeah.
not what I would do personally, but I think it's right. He establishes his team. They look good. I mean, they look really good on D. So who am I?
And Lou's getting a little older, right? I mean, he ran like 6-man of the year for like 11
Yeah.
seasons straight or something ridiculous, right? So I don't know.
Maybe he has dropped off too. That could be
Yeah.
another. That's what I was wondering. Maybe he has.
He's still getting to the rim, though, right? I mean, when you watch, he still seems
Yeah.
to be the offensive force. I just think that it's like his defense was bad, and it just is getting worse. And I think that Ty Lue's trying to establish a new type of identity for the team, and maybe make them feel like they're earning their minutes a little more with obviously all the favoritism stuff last year, which is interesting, though, because I never thought that George or Leonard were dogging it at all on the defensive end last year. I thought you got a good, solid two-way effort from them. So probably just doing little things to make things feel different. Tyler, I know you like Portland here. Is there going to be any props to go ahead and correlate with the with your hot underdog take here?
There's one I like. It's a Nurkic over 3.5 assists. You're getting it at plus 135.
Okay.
I mean, just like you said, if these wing defenders give the guards problems, they're probably going to run the offense through Nurkic.
Right.
And I mean, we've seen him rack up double-digit assists throughout the bubble last year. He's gotten over that 3.5 twice in these 3 games, I believe. So, I mean, the moment that ball hits his hands, I could see screens coming off of him, Dame getting to the bucket, CJ pulling up for mid-range jumpers.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there because one thing about Nurkic too is he's not a selfish gonna get mine player. He'll pass out of a soft double really quick, and I think that's one of the reasons that he's so popular with his teammates and basically with scouts that he's basically just saying wait till Nurkic comes back, wait till Nurkic comes back. Might have been the reason he was starting over Jokic a couple years ago, right? Although I think that might have been more defense, but yeah, I like that prop a lot. Big
So,
team, did you have anywhere?
one of the good things you guys got by bringing me on, I always get this news right away. But so Tristan Thompson's out tonight. Jason Tatum's questionable, which means he might be out tonight. We can hop on some Boston props if they're still up on the board. And I mean, like, so once Tristan's out, some of these other guys are going to get a big boost if there's numbers up. These type of big guys, even like Grant Williams. Guys like that. I think Tatum – I was originally thinking Tatum might sit coming off that game. So when he gets down to questionable, you can almost pound these Jaylen Brown props, Marcus Smart props. And even if he somehow does play, you're not drawing dead in those props anyway. So if he sits, you're gold. If he doesn't, you're still okay.
What are your Jaylen numbers at right now, Tyler?
They're all locked.
They locked
the game.
Okay.
They pulled them.
You got to hit those things so quick when that news.
Yeah,
you got to be like right on it.
Yeah, what would you be thinking there as like a number you'd be looking for, like 22.5 or higher? Like, what would you want Jaylen at?
Yeah, probably like 22. I think if Tatum doesn't play, he probably goes for like 25 plus, I think. Marcus Smart's another guy to target because they probably set his number at like 14.5.
If Tatum doesn't play, their shot creation is really
it's just going to be Smart really chucking threes. Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering about that number when we started. It just felt like someone was going to sit in that 6. And that 6 number was light. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't. I mean, if it doesn't go down even further without Tatum. I think Tatum sits. I know he's only questionable, but is the number still up at 6?
No, everything's locked.
It's down to.
Yeah, everything's locked on that game right now.
If it comes up before they officially rule Tatum out and it's like 5.5 or 6, I think we got to hit that.
All right. Well, let's do. Do you have anything more on that Lakers game before we do a quick rundown of everything?
No,
I don't think on the late.
All right, Grizzlies, Celtics. Kind of thought the line move was a little too much. I like Grizzlies at 9, definitely not at 6.
Even still, if Tatum sits.
If Tatum sits, I mean, if Tatum sits, what do you think they'll reopen this number at? 3?
No, it won't be that low.
4.5?
I think it'll be like 4.5. I don't know. You think 3?
If it gets anywhere down to like 2 or like 1.5, give me Boston money line.
They can't put it that low, I don't think. People would bury Boston.
I think below 5, I'm going to take Boston here.
People love Memphis, though. Like, people love Memphis.
Even without Ja, though?
I don't think
it's the first game out. is usually pretty good for a team coming off a big injury. The second game, fade,
So they
fade,
just
fade, fade,
posted it
fade.
at Westgate in a bunch of places, 4.5.
Yeah,
Four and a
so
half, 5.
I like Boston there, even with Tatum being out. Yeah, just
Yeah.
reback it up at 4.5.
And
Total
Tatum's
around
not officially
260.
out, so who knows? Maybe he ends up playing. Whenever they do this with the questionable, I feel like they always sit. But
Yeah, it's almost like they're giving us a little heads up.
why do they not just roll him out anyways? Like so as the DFS guy, I just don't get it. Like the other coach is not sitting there like, oh, is Tatum in? Is he out? Like that's not what the other teams are doing. Like just roll him out.
Yeah, I mean,
What difference does it make? I could see in the playoffs where you're trying to gain a little bit of an edge. What are you gaining though?
no, during the regular season, they talked about the difference between the scouts and what the players get. It's the difference between having like a 3-hour film session where they go over everything, and during the regular season, they get like a paper with like 3 notes.
That's what
No,
I
I'm
mean.
serious because
Exactly.
it's too much to absorb all the time. So it's like make the guy go left.
Yeah.
This is his favorite spot. Keep him from here. And on defense, he's weak this way. This is the way to attack him. That's like the most they get from their advanced scouts. So I agree with you there. And it's the NBA wants to get more popular, and they're trying to monetize this betting. It's going to continue to be an issue because they've tried to cut down on these players hitting, and it's done absolutely nothing. Right? I mean, I haven't
It's
seen
just
any difference.
impossible to control.
Yeah, 2 years in a row that they put in legislation that was supposed to prevent sitting. I mean, it sucks because the real answer is dropping down to a 60-game schedule and make each game worth more in the standings.
Yeah.
But we know that's not going to happen. So
I
it'll
still
probably
think they would sit people though. I
Yeah,
just
they
think
would
it's the new
sit
way.
people.
At certain low enough though, you never have back to backs,
Yeah.
right? You drop down to 60. I think you get no back to backs ever. I think that might be a solution, but it will never happen. So we'll move on to the next game. Heat taking money while we talk, down to plus 4.5. I like the Bucks there. Big T liked the Heat and the money line. He thinks the revenge is in full effect. Tyler, what was yours on that one? Bucks again?
Yeah, it was Bucks minus 5.5. I seen it before.
Okay, it's 4.5 now. So if you like that, now give me a Did you have a prop for that one?
I did not. They don't have any release for that game yet. Because I mean, if that number is falling, they might have guys sitting out. Milwaukee might be sitting guys.
Hawks Nets. Tyler and I both agree on Brooklyn. You liked Brooklyn there too, right?
Yeah, I like Brooklyn.
Big T and Big T even said find that alternate spread.
I really think they are going to win. I should have asked the dude in chat. Where was that FanDuel where he got that number?
Yeah.
5-1 is like stealing. Brooklyn could beat anybody by that price. I bet they win like every 5 games by 20, like 1 out of every 5. So you're getting a good price.
Yeah, so we're going to be hitting the alternate spread on that too. Tyler, make sure maybe we'll throw one of those in the Discord with all the leans. We'll give out the -6, and then we'll give out the we'll go ahead and give out the
and then Big T
total.
had the Harris prop in there too.
And
so
what's the prop on yours?
Ask me this too, because you guys got the official plays. You guys are the pros, but like my sheet, I get more questions than you would believe. Like, how come your record is? I don't have it up in front of me, but 400 and 460 losses, but you're up 100 units or something. It's because I bet all these plus units things, so I'm not going to have a winning record.
Yeah.
It's
that's the same thing. That's the same way that I approach the tennis handicapping. When you take a bunch of dogs, you can be less than 50% and be profitable.
I shouldn't even put the record on there, honestly.
You should just put the unit count, right?
Like, it's just, I'm betting and first touchdown scores are counted as losses. Like, I just count everything as a loss, and people it blows people's mind. They like act like I'm cheating with it. I'm like, no, I pick a lot of plus 500s.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point on the live show, right? We've been crushing the first touchdown props, but then it would go in the record as 1 and 3 every time.
Yeah, exactly.
We're clocking units on almost every show, like at least 5 units on those.
And people always act like it's fishy for some reason. No, you bet 4 first touchdown prop. You're 1 and 3, but you won 6 units or 7 units, whatever it is.
Yeah, we'll have to maybe get an average price column in there so they see that your average one is like plus 171 or something. A little love for the Hornets during the show, Big T. So they probably listened to you and Tyler and just made a bunch of bets.
Play of the night. We got to get you on the Hornets spread.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and make that one an official lean then. To plus 7.5 there. Although I am worried of the East-West disparity there. But we'll go ahead and put that one in. And we had no props for that one, right?
No, I had Devontae Graham over
Devontae Graham.
6.5.
Devontae
6.5
Graham. Okay.
assists.
Always has these just great. I sent him a message last week. This dude comes up with just some good freaking props. I mean, if you're not telling his props, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, I mean, and some of the stuff I wouldn't even consider, which I love, like these angles that I wouldn't even consider. So really
It's
doing a
always
deep
like that.
dive into the
Even
game script.
I'm playing DFS every day, looking at the little edges, and he'll post one, and I'm like, man, that's a good play. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, definitely. So
Got to find the sneaky ones.
Yeah, we'll be getting involved in that one for sure. For the Lakers and the Spurs, Big T and I definitely like the Spurs here. Tyler, were you joining us? Is that going to become an official lean?
I'm not taking a side in this game, but I like the over.
We'll put it on the Discord. It's an official lean, okay?
We'll take the Lakers
for the shows. No, we're taking the Spurs. We're grabbing the phone.
Oh, Spurs. Okay.
Yeah, and then finally another one that we're opposite on, so it will not make an official lean. And the Lakers just got locked right after I said that. Maybe check for some news there, Big T.
LaMarcus Aldridge just got marked questionable too. The NBA is going to be.
I would rather have him out. Don't you think that helps our bet?
I think it speeds up the game.
Yeah, I don't want Aldridge out there. I'm completely fine with him sitting.
You imagine Aldridge trying to stop AD?
Yeah, I mean, let's get rid of that. I mean, it's not 2012 anymore. I'm completely fine with him sitting. DeRozan, I don't like, even though a lot of people like to run him down. I think he's been great in the power forward role now. Shows you how small the NBA got, right? Guy started his career at shooting guard. Now it's most effective at the 4. But I think DeRozan at the 4 is a great closing lineup. So I definitely wouldn't want him to sit. I have no problems if Aldridge sits. Give me more total minutes. He's better at this point on defense. And I'm going to get a smaller, quicker lineup with more of those young guys that just got the juice still. And then the final game, I like the Clippers. Tyler likes the Blazers. What side were you on that one, Big T?
I mean, I don't even like that game. So if I had to choose, I'd probably choose the Blazers, but I really don't have a feel for it.
And then Tyler had the great prop of the Nurkic over 3.5 assists, another one at plus money that he found.
That's his best call, too. I love the call because they're going to play through him. He's a really good passer.
Yeah, so I love that play, too. So, all right. Well, this was quite the episode. I'm so glad you were able to join us, Big T. I think that you gave us a little bit of, core advice for those who want to venture and fire up a DraftKings account for tonight to start ringing in the new year. So anything you want to say to the people before we get out of here?
No, someone in the chat earlier, what were they saying about all the Jokic props? So someone in the betting Discord, if you're not in the Discord and you're a member, you should be in there because these guys are talking to you all day. But they were talking about Jokic's assist prop yesterday, whatever it was, 7.5, 8.5. I can't even remember. What was it, Tyler? 7.5?
7.5, 8.5.
I know, and I waffled on it, and then you jumped in. I said, I don't know. Assists can be kind of, they can be kind of hit or miss.
No. So this was going to lead into the point, though.
For sure.
Literally, anytime this year, I'll say it into the camera, anytime this year it's under 10, hit the over every time. This dude is going to average a triple-double or close to it. You're going to win more times than not when you hit that over on his assist. He is going to just crush this year, like we talked on that podcast spread. I know they're 1-3, but if you got those 25-1 MVP bets with us, I really think he's going to be the MVP. He looks so good to me. He looks incredible. So just hit those overs every time.
Yeah, I'm not worried about 1-3 at all. This is definitely a team dealing with some bubble hangover. They played really late into the year. I mean, Jokic showed up in shape, right? He didn't party with Luka during the offseason.
He looks so good.
Yeah, it's a quick turnaround. They really haven't been able to implement a lot. They're obviously trying to move Porter Jr. into a bigger role, and that's affecting them defensively. But the guy needs the minutes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He needs to get out there, needs to get torched, and go ahead and learn from it. So he's playable during the basically, I think he'll be playable by the second half of the season. I think that you're going to see a huge improvement in his defense just through the reps. And
he's so long.
Yeah.
Just so long.
And he said it himself. He has no reason not to be a good defender. So I'm not selling my Nuggets stock yet at all. I think it's just a tough start. Even that game against the Kings last night, completely situational. I think they came out flat in the opener. And then I think last night it was a travel situation.
They also didn't have Murray.
A tough game.
And they were in it. I mean, the game was tied with 6 minutes left, and they just went cold.
Yeah. And that's when Murray helps getting those half-court opportunities because it makes it so much harder to focus on Jokic like the Kings ended up eventually doing. So I'm still in on the Kings. Let's review everything for the people who joined us that are not members. If you want to come hang out, bets 25 off is just for the betting side. You'll basically get access to videos such as these, access to our live show, access to the spreadsheet, which is up 40 units where we provide our plays. And then, most importantly, you're in the Discord. You shoot us an you have a particular question, for Tyler on props, me for side on totals, Big T for DFS. You have access to that as well. Or Buckets 15 will get you a discount if you want to go ahead and join both. If you want to just dive headfirst into this whole sports gambling deal, you want to hit the DFS, you want the bets, and you want the information from the pros, that's where to go. So thank you for joining us today, guys. Big T, anything else for the people before we sign out?
No, I mean, I always just sell it as one thing. I don't understand the DFS side, why they don't get the bets. I don't understand it vice versa, because either way, you're going to get all the info. I tell all the DFS people, Tyler's props, spreads, plays, they're going to help you. Like the Nurkic, maybe you're teetering between Nurkic and someone else, and you get in there and you see Tyler talking up the Nurkic assist prop or whatever. I mean, you're just not – for what you get, the money is just too cheap to not pay for both. Sure, if there's no way you're going to ever look at anything else, don't do it. But, I mean, right now you can get $85 for the whole site. There's just no reason not to do it.
Yeah, and for me, I don't really post in your guys' Discord for the DFS side, but that's where I go for my injury info because you guys are getting it like
the info is going to be good for sure.
So if I see a line move, wait, why did that line move? I don't even go to Twitter anymore. I go check your DFS NBA Discord, and you usually told me, oh, Tristan's out. Oh, this guy's questionable. Yeah. Okay, well, now it makes sense this line moved a point and a half. So it definitely helps even if you're not like for me, I haven't even created an NBA lineup yet, and I've still been in there at least once every day. Just for maybe injury news or just projections maybe on a player like, let's say Tatum is out. Okay, well, who's going to take his usage? Unless I've been watching Boston and, tracking their lineups, I don't know. But you guys know, hey, this is going to be the extra usage. That helps me in my handicap. So you're right.
And the information is just so active, man. Like,
yeah. It never stops.
Pick up something you won't know. Like, even I'm in there and I'm picking up stuff all day. And it's not just basketball. We got these college bowls going right now. There's more news than I've ever seen in my life with people sitting and this and that. If you're betting the bowl games and you're in that Discord, you're going to get the injury news and the who's sitting out better than anywhere you can find it. Like, just for the extra, if you're on the bet side right now, an extra $20 or whatever for DFS, vice versa, no reason not to have the whole thing.
Tyler, where in the Discord are you going to post those? It's in
the Discord picks channel.
Discord
on our side, yeah.
On the bet side, Mark Richmond.
Yep.
So, all right, Tyler, you got anything for these guys before we wrap up our last show of 2020?
I mean, I could list those props again for them. The Nurkic over 3.5 assists, Grayson Allen under 1.5 threes, Dylan Brooks over 20.5 points, and Graham over 6.5 assists.
All right, that sounds fantastic. Winners win.